Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB, and in today's episode, I have a really interesting guest, and her name is Richa Patil. Now, look, she's a pioneering leader in the metaverse industry, in the blockchain, and in the cryptocurrency industry as well. What I really liked in this particular podcast is she mentioned her educational background, her working experience, and her working experience in the cryptocurrency industry as well. She clearly explained what is it MetaDecrypt is doing in the industry. And listen, guys, if you're a startup, if you're a business entity and are trying to build anything in the blockchain cryptocurrency or in the metaverse industry, you definitely need to check out MetaDecrypt. Now, if you go to the website, the information is absolutely crystal clear. And the key highlight for me was when I asked her about what Decrypt is, she answered precisely what is it that MetaDecrypt is doing. But what I found it really interesting is when she was explaining these things, she was trying to explain how it helps the end users, how it helps the businesses and the startup, and that is such a key message. So if you are a startup, if you're trying to build something on it, I definitely think you need to get in touch with MetaDecrypt, and I'm so glad that she's the pioneering leader. And guys, one thing which I noticed was that when I was asking her these questions, I got this feeling that she's already in the industry for well over 5 to 6 years. Now listen guys, I've been talking to quite a lot of people in the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain and beyond blockchain community, but the information that she has definitely outweighs some of them. A really interesting thing that she told me was that she recently moved to Dubai, and being in Dubai, the very first event that she had was in none other than the Museum of the Future. The Museum of the Future might just be one of the most beautiful buildings in the entire world. And imagine doing your very first event at the most beautiful building in the world. And guys, the reviews that people have got regarding the event was absolutely brilliant. That tops it up with another event that she conducted. That is the Metaverse Assembly event. Now look guys, so far as Metaverse Assembly event is concerned, it just might be one of the biggest events probably in the entire world as well. And Richa Patil was the key person. And what was really surprising is that that particular event did take place on her birthday and on her mom's birthday as well. It's absolutely brilliant to know that massive event is taking place with your birthday. And I do feel in some way the universe is definitely helping people who have the right intentions. And this is where the whole nature of law of attraction kicks in. Another thing what stood out for me is when I asked her for advice that she'd like to give to other businesses, competitors, or partners, she gave the response taking into consideration how the entire industry benefits. So definitely pay a lot of attention to that particular part. And she also mentioned an event that is taking place in the month of November. Again, guys, this just might be one of the biggest events towards the end of the year. So the event that is taking place in the month of November is called Design in the Metaverse. And she's doing that in partnership with some heavy giants such as Dubai Culture. And listen, guys, if you are a startup who's trying to build something in the Metaverse, you definitely need to attend that event. And what I really liked in this interview is that she has built contacts with key people in the industry, not just in Dubai but also in India as well. She had speakers from Australia, speakers from India and other parts of the world. And guys, in this podcast, I did ask her what were some of the challenges that she faced, but the answer that she gave was she took it as though it is not a challenge but a learning process, and that was the key highlight for me as well. So definitely a brilliant episode, and I do think you guys would learn quite a lot from this. While she was talking, she was also saying that, she's learning at the same time. And this, guys, is an extremely powerful message, because what happens is once we are in the industry, we think we are the OGs in the space. But what I learned from her, and something which I personally might take as well, is the experience of learning. And she also mentioned that when she's conducting these sessions, she's also learning during that process. So absolutely brilliant stuff. And overall, guys, I do think you will be benefited by listening to this episode. So please listen to the entire episode. And if you guys do have any feedback or suggestions, you can always drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com. And if you want to get in touch with Richa, all of her contact details are in the show notes below. So check this out. Firstly, Richa, thank you so very much for doing this podcast. Really appreciate you taking the time, considering the fact that October is the month of Metaverse. And I have to say that you're one of the OGs so far as conducting events in the Metaverse, particularly Dubai is concerned. So firstly, thank you for doing these events. And I also wanted to congratulate you. Is it the first year anniversary with MetaDecrypt as well?
Yes. And thank you. Actually, it's my pleasure. to be, invited to your podcast. It's been doing a lot of good podcasts recently, and I've been following it. So thank you for this opportunity as well.
Thank you so very much, Richa, for that. Now, can you tell our listeners, Richa, a bit about yourself and how did you get involved in your blockchain space and in the metaverse journey as well?
Sure. So I have been in, so to tell you a little bit about myself. I have been working for almost like 10 to 12 years in different companies which are from different industries. Earlier, when I've passed out in biotechnology from Nagpur, so I have studied biotech, and after that, I got my first job in Pune, and that was with one biotech company actually. And then I graduated, and just after my exams, actually, I already got the campus recruitment, and I finished my exam. The next day, I was on the train to Pune. So I've lived in Pune for almost like 7 to 8 years. And then I got the opportunity to work with amazing multinational companies, because I don't know if you know about Pune, but it is filled of multinational companies having so much of growth in different industries. So yes, I've mainly worked in telecom and healthcare tech. And after that, I was mostly doing a lot of technical courses, did also project management, was a Scrum Master and a business analyst. And then I got promoted as a project manager. Then when I was working with the healthcare tech, I thought of doing something of my own during that time, and I was considering what's next. It led me to a couple of opportunities, thought of doing an e-commerce platform, which probably didn't work out that well, but then I thought, okay, let me do something. And that's when I kind of got a job in Bangalore, and I moved to Bangalore 6 years back, and I've been working with a private equity firm. That was my last company. It was Xander Funds, and I was heading their co-working space for Bangalore. And that's when I kind of did my first blockchain course, because I was working on a tech platform for crowdfunding. How do we do tokenization of real estate? And that's what really got me interested in blockchain. And we thought of doing something, as fractional ownership, which is now becoming very popular. But back almost 4 or 5 years back, it wasn't that much. And because of the case study that I did, it allowed me to explore this whole field of blockchain and Bitcoin. And the moment you read the Bitcoin white paper, I think there was no looking back.
Absolutely, 100% correct here.
So, after a while, I was working in this real estate private equity fund. You know what happened with COVID during 2020. So real estate was really not doing well. And it was co-working that I was heading the whole vertical and the business. And I thought that it is important that, I make the change. And also during that time, I was feeling the rush of getting into crypto. So fortunately, I got a job in, a work from home job in an exchange. And it was my training period, I would say. I joined it at a very, very basic package and basic salary. But then, that was my main gateway to learn all the blockchains. How do we integrate it with the different exchanges? So I've been in this space for almost now 2 to 3 years, wherein I learned about how to integrate different blockchains. So I know the ecosystems in Polkadot, Polygon, Cardano. I used to actually go to their Cardano Academy in Bangalore. That's how it really started, and I made some friends with Polkadot ecosystem, and we were struggling when I was in the exchange. We were struggling to actually get Polkadot integrated, and somehow we got hold of Polkadot, and the whole team helped us to integrate Polkadot, and then make DOT available for our traders for the exchange. So yes, that's how my connection with Polygon, Polkadot, and Zilliqa also has been very, very, good. I still talk to them whenever I need any help. I just have, they're just a ping away. So yeah, that's how I started. And then when I completed the consultation role, and I thought I came to Dubai actually for the first time in October of last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 1 year introduction. Although I shifted to Dubai only in March, but then I came first time in October. So yes, it's been a year for me also in Dubai, you can say, on and off. It has been amazing. And when I came to Dubai, I was like so much excited because Metaverse already had picked up in October of last year. So when everybody was talking about blockchain, we were doing everything blockchain, but Dubai was already talking about Metaverse. And I think that's how I kind of made up my mind, okay, I think I should come back here. And also the opportunities that I was getting from everywhere, because we were meeting for the first time. And all the people that are from the blockchain space were here in October. And then it was like all those people who used to speak in Zoom, Telegram, and so on and so forth. We happened to meet in October in Dubai. So then it was just, one thing led to the other.
Yeah, and I must say that, moving to Dubai in October is relatively better than, let's say, coming here in June or July because the weather is ridiculously hot. And I'm glad that you mentioned about things in Pune because a lot of my relatives are based in Pune. So I think what our listeners need to do is you need to look at, the place where Richa has worked, that is Pune. That is, if not, one of the most beautiful places. And a lot of my relatives from Mumbai, occasionally they go to Pune quite often. And going back to Bangalore, my mom was from Bangalore.
Oh, so, that's nice.
Bangalore. So it's great to know that you've got a phenomenal work experience. And I think our listeners should definitely follow you on LinkedIn because the fact that, you've got an experience from biotech, then doing a course in blockchain technology. And right now, I must say that when it comes to events in Metaverse, you're kind of leading the pack, isn't it? Because you recently had a couple of events and you also are responsible for the Metaverse Assembly event, which for our listeners should know is probably might just be the biggest Metaverse events, not just in the MENA region, probably even in the world as well. So, it's glad to know that, you've taken lead on that. So absolutely brilliant stuff. Now, what I want you to know is, Richa, can you tell our listeners what is MetaDecrypt? I think our listeners would be very curious to understand what is it that you do, because if you look at your website, there's some really useful information that individuals and businesses can benefit by it.
Yes, so thank you, George, for all your compliments about our conference. And to tell you about MetaDecrypt, and probably I'll tell you what led me to do these conferences. So when I came to Dubai for the first time in October, I saw that there's a lot of exhibition and there's a lot of events. And I'm a back-end person. I don't really come out so much. And what MetaDecrypt really does is that when we thought of doing something of my own, I was just exploring the idea, what we should do. So I wanted to bridge the gap of what people were trying to do. People were walking around with white papers and they didn't have a product. Wherein we coming from tech and product side, we tend to kind of always start getting our imaginations going for, how do we build this? What's on the paper? And that's how we started MetaDecrypt, taking my first contract in October. The moment I got the first contract in October, by the way, I had seen the ecosystem in Dubai and I had gone back. And just to tell you a little bit of a trivia about us, the day when Facebook was renamed to Meta, that was the same day that I bought the domain for MetaDecrypt.
Excellent. That is absolutely excellent because earlier today, they had the earnings report as well. And I was just checking when is it that, they actually changed the name from Facebook to
Meta. It was
Meta.
October 28th.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just checking on that thing. So brilliant stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I didn't know about it actually, that evening they were making the announcements. In the morning, we were discussing with my mom, with my team and some friends actually, that what is the name that we want to keep, and I had already made up my mind that I'm going to be back to Dubai. And I was in Dubai when I bought this domain actually. And I had made up my mind that I'm going to do something with Metaverse and crypto. And that's how we clubbed the two names. But what importantly, the message that I wanted to create was how do we decrypt whatever is crypto? Because there's a lot of, speculation around it. People don't really understand what exactly it is. And people don't understand Metaverse and they don't understand crypto. we're also learning too. So we thought, why don't we embark this journey of decrypting and demystifying whatever is crypto and metaverse, and that's how the word MetaDecrypt came into picture.
That is a brilliant explanation, because what I was looking at is, what I tend to do is I tend to publish a daily report, and I do a podcast every day. And one of the leading publications that I look at is called Decrypt. And it's great that, you actually have MetaDecrypt, and the way you explained it, I think our listeners, will definitely understand the reasoning behind it. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And on your website, you also have different services that you offer, right? Like MetaConnect, MetaCap, MetaPress as well.
Yeah. So keeping in mind that we come from exchange background, and also business is one of the main expertise that I have. I've always had leadership roles. Not always, but at least for the last 7 to 8 years that I was working, I realized that, we need a lot of support as products. So when we were developing our products, we just started with product development. So if you go, you see MetaTech. That is our blockchain development vertical, in which we are developing blockchain-based solutions on different blockchains like Cardano, Polygon. So, I don't know if you've heard of the names like dApps, what makes a blockchain become so popular. So we were really in the business of building dApps. That's it. And then we thought that all the products that we were shipping out from our company, they needed some growth support as well. And although I have been on the dev side, but then I could, because I worked in an exchange, I see that what is it that you need to grow your crypto project, right? It is just not marketing and PR. It does not help you. It is just not that. It is growth. And that's why I don't like to use marketing for crypto projects. I like to, or not just crypto projects, but overall the Web3, Metaverse, and blockchain projects. You have to look at it from a whole 360-degree growth point of view. And that's why you have to work with exchanges, you have to work with different, viral tools like trading competitions. You should know where your communities are going to be built. So it is community building on different social channels. And we also have to look at which are the influencers that are relevant to our products. And a lot of role and a big part of the success of any project is also held in the hands of market makers. So that is how I look at growth strategy. So I've been giving growth strategy advisory also a lot, and that's where the Meta Connect or the Meta Growth comes into picture. And then this is to support whatever we were developing. And as you know, it's also about, to do all these things, you need money. And since we have been talking to a couple of VCs, and I am quite well connected with angels as well, so I just used to kind of refer them to some VCs, and then they will take things forward. So that's how we were in fundraising as well. So we launched something like MetaCap. It is like a proprietary fund right now. We haven't really shaped it in any way, except that we do some introductions. And other than that, we are talking a little bit more deeply now. How do we grow the Web3 community? And how do we educate them with the right sets of people? And the most important thing that I really believe in, especially for us to grow in Web3, is that each one of us need to have a mentor.
Absolutely 100% agree. Having a mentor in any role that you have is definitely important here.
Yeah. So I thought that we'll do this conference, first educational conference. We didn't, we were the first ones. The moment I came back to Dubai, after I went back to India, etc., registered my company or was in the process of registering the company, I just thought that there's a lot of educational gap here. And nobody is going to, everybody's in the race to launch your project, but then it takes a lot more to actually understand what is tokenomics, what really you should think on putting your token into utility, getting it into the ecosystem, how it will be used in the ecosystem, how it will be spread across different communities. So it's a lot different ball game altogether, especially even when it is an NFT project right now. everybody knows the importance of NFTs, but the most important thing for an NFT project is its roadmap and the community and the experience. So it's just not about the loyalty programs and memberships that everybody is now kind of getting into, doing something about it. It's different, So these are some of the gaps that I wanted to address, and I'm not an expert in all the fields, but I know the people who helped me. So like that, I wanted to bring those people. So one of the main reasons I think we thought of doing the event or a conference for the first time, although if you see, we're not a conference or we're not an events company. We were just building projects, we're a dev company. And the only reason why I thought of doing this is that after going to so many events, I still thought that people are just, seeing a lot of information, but they need to sit down and relax and just, hear some experts. So I brought in all the experts from across the world, from Australia, from Paris, from, the ones who I have worked in the past, and they're mind-blowing people. And that's how, I got the support of the Museum of the Future also. And it was the first ever event after it got inaugurated, and I think Dubai Future Foundation has been extremely supportive to me. So they liked whatever we were trying to do or accomplish. So that was their first Web3 conference also with us, and it was ours any which ways. And we wanted to do it because we came to Dubai for the first time and wanted to see, how do we bridge the gaps? What kind of content do we bring in the eyes and ears and minds of people here in Dubai who are building the next story, who are building the next future? So that's how it started with conferences. And Dubai Metaverse Assembly was again done in partnership with Dubai Future Foundation. So again, very honored to have this opportunity to do the conference with them. But then while all these conferences are going, just to remind you, we were also doing the dev work. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I just, for our listeners, what our listeners need to do is go to Google and just type in the most beautiful building in Dubai, and you will find a Museum of the Future. And it's so great to know that, you actually had the very first event at the Museum of the Future. And to our listeners, what Richa is talking about is the MetaDecrypt Web 3.0 Summit. And I think it was absolutely beautifully done. And what I'm really liking from this podcast is, you're covering every areas. You're tackling the core problem that is growth. Because one area which I think cryptocurrencies and metaverse industry has a problem is user adoption.
Yeah.
So, your experience with the cryptocurrency exchange, your experience, and your contacts with venture capital funds. And I do think you're taking a massive step and doing it right in helping not just the cryptocurrency community, but also the metaverse community and the people in Dubai in general as well. So absolutely brilliant stuff. What I wanted to ask is, regarding the MetaDecrypt Web 3.0, were there any challenges that you faced? Because you did mention that you have speakers from Australia, you had speakers from all over the world. So what our listeners should do is go to the Web 3.0 Summit, just check the number of speakers, and they are from different countries. And I think managing that is an absolute nightmare, but the way you did it was absolutely beautiful. So what were the challenges that you faced, while you were conducting these sessions?
Well, some of the main challenges that we were facing were the transport and accommodation and just making sure that everything is falling in place. So I had set up a team who could, take care of travel and accommodation, and just seeing in general what, that they have the right hotels, and also they also needed to have the COVID test done if they're flying from US, etc. So couple of these, and then we're a small team actually. We were still just starting, so everything was on me. So it was almost like a 24/7. Then slowly I hired a few people who could work with us to kind of manage the operations while I do the front end. Then there are some people who could do the operational side. And some of the other challenges were people who didn't know us, right? And if we go and ask for be it sponsorship or be it asking people to come as speakers, they wouldn't give us too much of attention because, I just came to Dubai like 2 months back and I'm doing an event in June. So It's people wouldn't really care too much about Dubai, about me being in Dubai, but people were actually quite nice later, as in how one person helped me, then the other person introduced the other person. So like that, my community has grown, and identification in Dubai has grown. So while there were challenges, but then I think there were really nice opportunity for me to kind of connect with the larger people, the locals in Dubai who are actually working to build whatever they're doing in blockchain and metaverse.
And Richa, I must say, what happens is every Saturday I go to a couple of events, which is more like a meetup event. And the moment I just mention MetaDecrypt, they already know who's the person behind it. So, you're kind of like a mini celebrity so far as, the
Right.
events is concerned in the cryptocurrency and in the metaverse community as well. So I think you're definitely doing a brilliant job. And what is really important to note is that you are doing all these things while you are also doing your regular development community as well, right?
Yeah. And that's the struggle. That's the challenging part, actually, because dev assignments take a long time to close. You have to go through multiple requirements, get the team to work on the project's scope, and gathering different requirements, different environments. And we are doing a couple of things, actually, if I can tell you. And just for everybody to know what are the different kinds of capabilities that we have. Most of the work that we do in blockchain is have build different blockchain solutions, which includes like if somebody wants to have a public blockchain, so we have a full stack public blockchain development team, which is like an expert team who I can go to and tell them, okay, this is the requirement that we have. Can you do something about it? They're so nice, and they will say, okay, we'll look into it, and tailor the public platform chain, and tell us what is the kind of protocols that you need. So then I will connect them to our clients or the prospective clients, and then they will work with them to actually come up with protocols, which is nothing but dApps that will go with, that are in line with their vision. We do that, and then NFT marketplace development is something that is happening a little bit more frequently now. Then DEX development happens. Another set of work that we are receiving a lot right now is blockchain based game development. So what we have done is we've tied up with 3 companies right now who help us to do blockchain game development. One of them, the one that we have right now, we also have like a ready-made solution, so you can just effortlessly launch your blockchain game. All that you have to do is add your elements of gamification. And wallets are something which is very much needed, and the digital wallet development, especially for the services for P2P as well as for commercial transactions, which are enabled for digital devices, we help them to build their a secure e-wallet, you can say. And something that I'm really excited to launch, which is going to be announced very soon, is going to be the first ever NFT ticketing system.
That's excellent. That is something which is definitely needed. Is that going to be only based in Dubai, or is it going to be spread across all over the world?
Well, yeah. So I am co-founding a project which is based in India right now. They're based off from Bangalore. The team is called My Own Internet, which is MOI team. They're very, very popular. They've been winning a lot of hackathons from CoinSys, Switch, Kuber, as well as they have their own blockchain. So I have partnered with them to launch the NFT ticketing system. Right now for India, you can buy, sell, etc., with fiat. You don't need a wallet for it. You can just buy with your own credit card or your bank account. But in Dubai, since we are just launching it right now, it's going to be an easy solution for you to log in with your Google ID, and we're coming up with a very Web 2.5 kind of a solution for mass adoption. So you can just log in with your Google ID and mint your NFT or get your NFT drop.
See, that is absolutely brilliant and critical. The fact that you mentioned Web 2.5 is something which I know for a fact some of the OGs in the cryptocurrency community would absolutely love, because I think there's still a long way to go from Web 2 to Web 3.0. So the fact that you're merging it with Google, it just makes user adoption and the user experience so much more easier. So that is absolutely brilliant here.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited, George, for this one. Because gone are the days when you would open your Google Gmail ID and show your ticket. We definitely have to move to the next level wherein we probably just show our NFTs, and the NFTs can show your social history that you've gone actually, because it's on a blockchain, it's on a ledger. So people can actually see that you attended the event, because NFTs is the proof of attendance. So this is for the first time that I think in Dubai at least will be happening, that we will be giving NFTs for proof of attendance.
It's absolutely excellent. And when I ask some of my interviewees, what is the major area where blockchain or cryptocurrencies will be affected the most, and some of them do actually say ticketing. And it's really great to know that you're taking the lead so far as NFT and ticketing is concerned. I think it just
I wanted to be a trendsetter actually for everything that we do.
I mean, the fact that you've done the first event in the Museum of the Future, that was absolutely massive. And I wanted to ask you about the second event, which I think might just have been the best event probably this year. That is the Metaverse Assembly. So how did that experience go about, and what were the learnings from that particular event that you had?
It was very special. First of all, it was on September 28th. It is the same date. It is my and mom's birthday. So we happened to organize this special session for Dubai Metaverse Assembly during these times, which is during my birthday. One of the great opportunities, I'm very, very blessed to have this opportunity, is I got a chance for the first time to work with a government body, which is Dubai Future Foundation, and so many other people who were involved to set up this massive, bravo kind of a big Dubai Metaverse Assembly that was launched by Sheikh Hamdan. And that led us to learn what is Dubai Metaverse strategy is all about. And when we witnessed the reveal of the Dubai Metaverse strategy when Sheikh Hamdan came, I was actually in the background. I was in the third seat. I took my video. I took out my camera and I recorded it that I'm with him. So it was a great experience. I think from learning point of view, for the first time I worked with a government body, which was the Dubai Future Foundation, so close. When you work with somebody, then you know what are the small nuances, what are the things that you need, the kind of expectations that they have, that they're very superior, where you have to maintain very high standards of delivery, communication has to be extremely crisp and transparent, marketing from all fields, and then making sure that you have the right programming. So we brought in Polygon to them, and whoever was from our network, we could bring from the Web3 space. We are always getting as many people to Dubai as possible because I think I being a girl, I moved with my mom here to Dubai. It also gave I feel set up a example also for a lot of my colleagues who are in Bangalore, took the step of moving to Dubai, and I'm very happy. So when all of that happened, actually, when I was there in the Dubai Metaverse Assembly, the whole process, it was so I just kept on thanking the universe for giving me this opportunity. And I think it's just because of the blessings of my mom that it so happened that we were destined to be a part of this mega event, and it so happened to be on our birthday. So it's only very very, very authentic, and we wanted to do something. So the intention was very, very pure, to be part of Dubai and help in its building and growth. So I think it just comes together.
And this is where I think, something called as law of attraction, where universe tries to merge and bring everything to you. And one question which I wanted to ask, and which I just thought of right now, is the birthday cake. Was it celebrated at Museum of the Future, or was it done somewhere else?
Well, all my friends were making fun that, okay, Richa's birthday party is where it is in the Museum of the Future.
That is, if not one of the most beautiful buildings to have. So, definitely bravo for that. And one question which I wanted to ask is, Richa, from, a blockchain and cryptocurrency point of view, what areas do you think merges well with, let's say, the metaverse industry? And the reason I thought of asking this question is because I do understand and feel that, despite you being relatively new in the cryptocurrency industry, I think you know more than what quite a lot of people from the cryptocurrency industry know. You have hands-on experience working so far as Polkadot, Cardano is concerned. You've also touched upon dApps. Are there any areas or industries you think merges with the metaverse industry? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, well, the main thing that I feel Metaverse, and especially we are in Web3, so MetaDecrypt is a Web3 company, which means that we're using the power of blockchain as an infrastructure level for developing our Metaverse or Metaverse projects or doing anything related to Metaverse. We are looking at like an overall development using different technologies, which is just not blockchain. It is also different emerging technologies like AI, AR, VR, XR, MR. All these technologies that existed, but I think Metaverse really became the hub or the point where all these technologies get a use case, and each industry has its own applications, implementations, integration. All of them can become as transparent as blockchain can enable you to be.
Absolutely, very beautifully said. And one thing which I wanted to ask is regarding another event which you are conducting, and I think that is taking place next month, called as a Design in the Metaverse. Is that right?
That is right.
Yeah, can you share our listeners what is it that they can expect from that particular event? Because I just looked at your LinkedIn post and I thought that is another massive event which is coming up in the month of November.
Exactly. So I think we have been like really focused on different aspects of development of a metaverse project. So a metaverse project is made up of multiple things, multiple aspects. One of the main things is that we all know it's art. Okay, but art is relevant to a certain extent, but the most important thing that I feel is the detailed planning, how you're going to develop a project. Development is the technical part which comes much later, but you need to have an idea with a certain outcome. And that was getting addressed in Dubai Design Week. So when the Dubai Design Week actually approached us about this event, we were doing the Dubai Metaverse Assembly. Sorry, we were doing our first event actually in the museum. And then we thought of collaborating with them to bring about what is the special thing about design that we can talk about in reference to Metaverse. So we kind of collaborated with the Dubai Design Week and Dubai Design District, backed by Dubai Culture. And we are programming the design in the Metaverse, which is I think the first of its kind. Nobody has ever thought of what is the difference between design and art, and people have been giving me art projects, but then we said that, see, the design aspect is different. So you have to design with a certain, you can be a fashion designer, interior designer, you can be so many different people. And Dubai Design Week was all about this trade fair about different people, which is the people who are real artists, designers, architects. These are physical assets that have a scope of becoming a digital asset in terms of NFTs or a metaverse, icon or whatever. My most important objective or reason why I thought of doing design in the metaverse was that we wanted to incorporate design as the integral part of any metaverse development project, because there is tech, there is development, but there is an important thing called design. And that is what we are trying to incorporate and build the mentality to design beautiful projects. Also, design includes graphics, and UI UX is something which is really, really important in the days of metaverse. You need to have a very good looking and a clear graphics for the metaverse project. So I'm not too much of a expert about this, but I'm also learning. But I thought that this would be an interesting way to not only learn myself, but also educate everybody. And as you know, I keep on repeating that I myself want to educate myself, and I want to share this knowledge with people who I know that they are doing something in it. And every time I set up a conference, education and knowledge awareness is at my prime focus. So again, we thought, let us now address design. So in this design week, in the Design in the Metaverse, the format of the event is such that there is an exhibition. We're creating immersive experiences that will be held in the Atrium 6 from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the night. It's a proper design expo which has multiple exhibitions from real world people, but we're focusing on the designing in the metaverse, which means immersive experiences. And that's 6 days. And the second is that we're building a beautiful dome that one of our projects, which is Divan Architects and Engineers, they are building and constructing a real an element of their metaverse, which is like which is a tower, a mythical tower that is getting constructed for speaking and talks. So again, we have design talks. Now, these are master classes. So the master class will include actually all the things related to metaverse, which is, one of the key, I actually happened to meet a person. She is doing something, building a Wikipedia of people in the metaverse.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Of these human beings and...
Yes. So right now you Google and you go to if you want to find somebody, you go to Google and the first thing that comes out is Wikipedia, right?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yes. Now I recently met with one of our keynote speaker. Her name is Sally, and Sally Ann, and you will learn how she has designed a living museum for changing or for bringing about the human ingenuity. What that means is whatever wisdom is there in physical, that will be available in the metaverse. Yeah, and how she's designed this is the beauty, and that's what you have to come to the event to know more.
Absolutely, 100%. And to be honest, the way you were explaining it for a brief moment, I did actually feel that, I am in the metaverse and I'm trying to search for something in the metaverse. So now this is what I do think, makes a 10x improvement from, let's say, the current existing world that you're living in. And I must say that, you're breaking the barriers in a positive and in a brilliant way. And I think you might be the first to be merging up with Dubai culture as well. So, I'm definitely so happy that someone from India is taking the lead in the metaverse industry, which might be the most high-tech industry right now. So absolutely brilliant job done on that. And anything else that the listeners can expect, let's say, if they want to attend?
I want to invite everybody because it is a free event. There is no ticket for this. So please don't fear. Just come to the event. Enjoy the immersive experiences. Come with your friends, families, kids, because we're going to make people, have immersive experiences. It is the kids who are doing all the Oculus, but I see the adults are becoming kids too with wearing their Oculus, and they're trying to play different games or, experience different, objects or whatever that they see with the Oculus. And we are doing our best to come up with 6 unique experiences. Plus, there will be a beautiful set where people are going to be immersed in a workshop, which is going to be immersive in itself also. So we're going to do 2 things. We have exhibition and then we have the design talks. The design talks, as I mentioned to you, I kind of gave away a little bit about what a living museum is going to be in the metaverse, wherein you will be able to capture the wisdom or the people who are doing something really nice, and you will be able to search them in this metaverse. Then we're going to talk about game designing in the metaverse. So I'm just telling you a couple of topics that we are going to cover so that our listeners can come and check which is the time that they would like to come. We're doing it from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 8th and the 9th. The topics are mostly like game design in the metaverse. Why are real estate developers actually investing so much in metaverse? What exactly they are thinking? Because real estate has a huge design element in it. And we want to address that aspect, although I'm not too sure if we can cover everything, but then we are curating a very systematic approach to talk about real estate investments and design integration in the metaverse. Then of course we have fashion designers who are doing amazing work in the metaverse, then digital twin, what are the different technologies that are being used, tools that are being used. One of the important things that we are also trying to do is, while everybody goes to events and they're just listening so many people, what we wanted to do is take this to the next level and do workshops wherein we actually call people to study. And some of the topics that we are covering is how to incorporate metaverse in your retail strategy. Like, as if you have a showroom, if you have if you just have a shop, then how do you really incorporate metaverse elements to kind of take the benefit of it in the retail industry? I don't know if you know about the 4 or 5 tracks that are the focus of the Dubai Metaverse strategy. So as for the 5 tracks, we've come up with 5 different workshops. The 5 tracks are retail or e-commerce, tourism, government services, and education and real estate. So we're addressing all these 5 tracks, and we're coming up with workshops wherein people have to register. So we'll be posting registration links very soon, so people will know what is design thinking. Design thinking is being done by Sucker. He's the co-founder of Crypto Oasis. He is one of the I feel is one of the most innovative thought leaders that we have in Dubai, and they have been doing some really good work also in Dubai. So he's going to be taking a whole workshop for design thinking. How do you build your how do you build your use cases for your metaverse projects? Then we're also considering safety and security in the metaverse. How do you, and by the way, one of the most important workshop that we're bringing to this particular event is a 6 days workshop for how do you build your metaverse using Unreal Engine. And this is going to be done by Unreal Engine's authorized training center, and you're going to get a certificate once you kind of complete the whole course. So this time we are just giving a beginner's class but once they enroll it, then they will be authorized or probably certified by the authorized center of Unreal Engine.
And Unreal Engine is, if not the world-class leader so far as, graphics and animation is concerned. And I'll tell you what, Richard, what I'm going to do is immediately after I finish this podcast, I'm going to make my niece, who's 14 years old, I'm going to make her listen to this particular podcast because, I keep forcing her and I keep trying to tell her about Metaverse. So me and my niece and even my dad, all 3 of them with different age categories will definitely be attending that event. And I really like the fact that, you kind of explain each and everything. So what our listeners need to do is, probably definitely attend this session if you are in Dubai and if you're in UAE. As a matter of fact, even if you're in other parts of the world, please drop into Dubai because this, I think, might just be another brilliant event. And the fact that, you mentioned about Unreal Engine, because I do speak to quite a lot of other startups, from other parts of the world. And they are saying that, how they are trying to work with Unreal Engine. But what you're doing is you're providing everyone an opportunity to get a real hands-on experience. So thank you so much for that. And absolutely brilliant stuff in doing that as well.
You know what? I want to give away registration links after this podcast. Probably whenever you're going to push this out, whoever is listening to your podcast get 10% discount to the tickets that because it's the trainers are certified trainers of Unreal Engine, and these workshops have a very minimal but some cost attached to it. We want people to actually make sure that they are enrolling and they're coming and actually working with the Unreal Engine trainers. The training team, the company is called the Happiness Room, and they're registered, they're authorized by your Unreal Engine. So the trainers are amazing set of people. I've met them, I've spoken to them. And when you come to participate, we're trying to do it in the evening hours also. Like for many people, when you go to these events, they're the same people. But what about every organization wants their employees to learn, right? And you don't get time when you're working. So that's why we're doing these workshops in the evening, because the By Design Week is from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So we are scheduling these workshops in the evening hours for those people who go to office and can't come to the event.
That is absolutely brilliant. So it's good to know that you're taking care of different kind of people who would be entering in the metaverse as well. And what I wanted to ask Richa from, let's say, a metaverse point of view, and this is more at macro level, based on your experience and speaking to, let's say, some of the OGs in the space, some of the speakers who have hands-on experience in cryptocurrencies and blockchain and metaverse, what industries do you think will be most impacted by metaverse?
I think tourism is waiting for it to be tapped, especially in Dubai. I am, as you can see, one of the reasons why I'm enjoying this process of doing conferences is because I get to learn so much deeper about projects, what they're doing. And also being in an exchange, I used to look at projects almost every single day, because that's the business of exchange, right? What I have seen now is the three, these are my favorite, actually. That's the only reason I'm being partial, I think. But the number one is tourism, second is real estate, and third is education. It is really going to impact these three the most, and positively, I would say, because real estate companies were I don't know if you know, but Decentraland's main investor is a real estate company, right? So they see the potential of it being used for creating better user experiences. And that's where the use case of metaverse is so relevant for real estate. And of course, with education, then, people are trying to integrate universities we've been speaking to, and we're inviting a few universities also for the event. The students, they want to kind of inculcate some better learning experiences. Why we are doing these workshops? We're asking people to get engaged. Unless you engage yourself and, do you do it yourself, you won't learn. So I'm moving away from just speaking and panel discussions and all of that. I'm more inclined towards, focusing on engaging people to do something with the tools and techniques. So we're actually telling them how to use Canva, Blender, Cinema, HD, etc. These are different tools that people use for working on metaverse projects. So I'm just giving away you some things that I'm working towards, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to get their employees upskilled.
And now, just sharing an experience in 2016, Samsung had a 360-degree camera, and you could connect it to a VR headset Samsung had called a Samsung Gear VR. And I was immediately telling my niece that maybe in the near future, this could be something which could be incorporated in schools. And looks like now, with metaverse, it could be possible that, maybe in the next couple of years, you will be attending your schooling experience in the metaverse. And what I really like, Richa, you mentioned about real estate and the Mac properties. I believe they're also investing heavily. I believe they're investing over $100 million in real estate. So, definitely beautifully covered all the specific areas. And I do believe that tourism is a massive area, where real
I'm actually just waiting for one big project to come into tourism. Really, I keep on, the moment somebody says I'm doing something in tourism, I am actually spending some time to read their white papers, roadmap, tokenomics, etc. I think that is an important field that is yet to be tapped. And whoever is listening, if you're in Dubai, please start working on something in tourism. That's the main thing for Dubai.
And when you talk about tourism, are you thinking, let's say, about outer space tourism as well? Because that's a possibility with metaverse as well, right?
Of course. Do you know one of the biggest funded company is based out of Dubai, who is working in the space program or launching a space metaverse. So
absolutely.
And also the biggest moon is going to be created in Dubai, right? They just announced the big moon is coming to Dubai. So the possibilities, Dubai already is forward thinking about it. And I just love all these things that physically are getting created. So just imagine what people are going to do in metaverse, especially with Dubai giving so much of push and encouragement, I would say. So I'm sure that there's something phenomenal going to come out
Absolutely.
of
And
this.
the project I think which Richa was talking about, I believe it's called as Beidou, right? Because they're trying to build something to do with Mars. They're trying to work with Mars in Metaverse or something of that sort.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember the name, but yeah, I have heard of Beidou. I know the founder of Beidou, Amin. They're doing something with citizenship as well. So yes, I haven't gone too much deep in it, but yeah, I think they're doing some really good stuff.
Absolutely excellent. And one question which I wanted to ask is, Richa, and I'm really curious to get your answer in comparison, let's say, to previous speakers, because what I'm learning from this particular interview is, you have real strong hands-on experience working with the government sector, working with some of the OGs in the space, speakers from all around the world. So what recommendation or advice would you like to give to fellow business partners who are trying to build, let's say, things in the metaverse?
I think for me, the most important thing that I'm seeing my colleagues do or the fellow co-founders do is take up a really good initiative of thinking of different business models that are applicable in this space, and they're really trying to innovate, and they are so persistent. Like, look at any metaverse co-founder or even blockchain or web3 space co-founders. They are so persistent. They are working so hard. They're going over and out. I don't see people who would just relax and give up. I think this trait is not there in our friends, and I give a lot of credit to them to be passionate about this field. The only thing that I'm looking forward for is more collaboration and seeing how partnerships can help each other, because in metaverse and blockchain, so say for instance blockchain really became the infrastructure, then on top of it you need dApps. So it's a partnership. So anything that X person is doing, just see how the other person can benefit and vice versa. So the partnerships in the Web3 space is going to be critical. So wherever you think that you have certain knowledge about partnerships, building partnerships, I think we should do that a lot more. And I really feel that we're a small family. We're still growing. We still have a huge competition with Web2 people, I would say, not amongst each other. But yeah, so we're just getting started. We're just a few million wallet users right now. We're just getting with a few thousand covered in different metaverses. So we have a long way of adoption that can only happen when we scale our partnerships.
That is excellent. That was moving towards my next question. So based on your experience, when do you think will be the mainstream adoption of metaverse, where the metaverse economy might be bigger or equivalent to, let's say, the real world economy? What do you think? What is the ideal time frame?
I think it will be massive in the next 5 years, but real adoption, or we can see like parallel things, I think a little bit more than 10 years.
Absolutely, I agree with the time period. And I like to ask two questions, Richa, which is nothing to do with cryptocurrencies, nothing to do with blockchain, nothing to do with metaverse as well. The first one is, what genre of music do you like and why?
I love Bollywood music. I'm a total lover of all peppy songs and Badshah songs and all the Kareena Kapoor songs, Shah Rukh and Salman Khan songs. I'm a total Bollywood person. So I love.
One of my good friend, he's best mates with Kajol.
Is it? Wow, please introduce me to him. I love Kajol.
Absolutely.
By the way, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge is my all-time favorite movie.
And I have watched it at least 7 times. I think people who grew up in the 90s would have watched that movie over and over again. It's an absolutely brilliant movie.
Before I came to your podcast, I was listening to DDLJ songs only.
That is absolutely excellent. And the second question, which I did not think about, and I just thought of asking this while we were doing this podcast. If your mother were to describe you in one word, what word would that be? Just in one word.
Strong.
Absolutely excellent. I totally agree. Yeah, that is definitely brilliant. And of any other thing you'd like to share to our listeners in terms of anything else you'd like to say on behalf of MetaDecrypt or regarding the events that is coming up?
First of all, I want to say thank you to all our listeners who are listening to the podcast. I want to say that the future is just starting in terms of Web3, blockchain, and Metaverse. There's lots of opportunities. The moment you look at everybody's, coming up with ideas, because the play field is so raw, it's empty. So whatever you're passionate about, whatever you think that you really love and want to bring that to fulfillment, this is the best time. So don't worry if you're 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old. The metaverse we are building, all of us are building for the future generation, and you are going to 10, 15 years are going to play a major role in shaping this up in the future as well. So while we're creating all these things, so just enter, do something with the dApps. Just learn some basic stuff and just explore and experiment and build. That's my request to everybody who's listening. Start small. Don't have to do something very complicated. dApps that I've been telling, that the easiest and the simplest thing to do. You just have to learn what dApp is, and you can create the simplest thing. I don't know if you know about EPNS. It is a push notification service built on Polygon. They just recently raised a couple of $1 million, I think $14 million or so. It's a very basic, simple dApp. Very simple. So the only thing that I want to say is whenever you're thinking to do something and you want us to build the next product for you, so MetaDecrypt is positioning ourselves as development company. Soon going to be making some more announcements about the development team that we are adding to us, based out of Bangalore, Hyderabad, as well as Southeast Asia, so that we can cater to the requirement of people who want to build projects, products on Metaverse, as well as game and blockchain. So we're heading towards that. Hopefully, we will spend a little bit more time this year to close on the development requirements. And MetaDecrypt is really positioned to help anybody with any idea and want our help to build their white papers, roadmap, tokenomics, very basic things. But this is what it is. And one of the main things that I want to tell people to do is, everybody is going to make a Metaverse website very soon. And that is something that we're also taking in our workshop, also in the Dubai Design Week, that how do you design your Metaverse looking website. So that is something that we can help you with as well. Most of the things that I am doing right now, it is keeping in mind that we're probably one of the one-stop solution, as you probably can think of, that we're doing almost everything, right? That all that credit goes to all my partners who are working with me to make these things, possible. And I work with very superior, tech teams, as well as, who are the key opinion leaders, thought leaders. And I do spend a lot of time to kind of, probably like you and I are having this conversation, right? I actually don't have a podcast or any interest like that, but then I've had a lot of these conversations with them who helped me to shape what I'm probably trying to build right now. So that's my message to everybody, that MetaDecrypt is here and we'll like your friends, and just tell us what you want and we'll try to help you with everything that we can with the best of our, teams and experts.
Absolutely excellent. And if listeners and businesses and startups do want to get in touch with you, what would be the best way to get in touch with you guys?
I think the place where I'm very, very active is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is there, and then Insta and Twitter I'm slowly coming in. So as I should tell you that I was not on social media at all. I just created my accounts like 2 months back. So, and all the work that I've always got so far is through references, so that's the kind of, work that I have done in the past that has helped me to kind of do all the work or get all the work. I haven't done much marketing. I don't believe in marketing as such. But yes, it is something that people want to reach out to me. Best is Telegram, LinkedIn, and Twitter and Insta. So all these channels, I'm there very much active.
Absolutely. So what I'll do is in the show notes below, I'll mention all the contact details. So, I'll mention that the preferred method is via LinkedIn. And I do think that, you're a pioneering leader, in Dubai, both in the cryptocurrency, blockchain, metaverse industry, and generally as a woman as well. You're definitely pioneering the way. So absolutely brilliant for talking to me. Really appreciate taking the time in this month, because this month is extremely, extremely busy. So once again, Richard, thank you so very much for doing this podcast. Really appreciate doing this here.